Thanks for joining Trots TV for part 2 of Inside My Stable with Belinda and Luke McCarthy. In the first instalment, Luke discussed his early years and how his passion for harness racing developed. In the second part, we discuss Luke's step from driver to trainer.
You made a decision while you're in Queensland to take out a trainer's licence, and gee, once again, you had instant success. In saying that, you didn't train a whole lot of horses. Select few horses, is that fair to say?
Yeah, it probably wasn't so much me taking out a trainer's licence, Hazy, as much as, you got to do it at some stage. And, I sort of worked for Dad, and, and then I bought a couple of horses as it went by, and just got really lucky to get Slip and Slide and then Fleur de Lille, and for a reason. So I never really had too many in my name early, but we just got lucky to get the right horses.
How'd you get Slip and Slide? How'd you pick him?
He was, at the time I was driving a lot for Mark Litchmark at Egmont Park. Since I was probably 18, I took up driving all of Kevin and Kay's horses and all of Mark's horses. And at the time, David Pike, Mark's foreman, was at the farm working there, and he had a horse he wanted to sell anyway. And he said, I wanted to sell this horse, blah, blah, blah. And a few other people had sort of looked at him, and he said, I'll send him down to you and see if you like him. Anyway, I had him there for a couple of weeks, and he's just a beautiful horse from word go. And so we bought him back then. I think I was only 18 when we got him, and he went on and just done a great job. He
won the Tried at 2. He was second to Blacks of Fake in the Tried at 3. He was placed in the New South Wales Derby, Chariots of Fire. It was a great ride with him. Yeah, he's still probably my favourite horse. As far I've had a lot of good horses, but he was just a beautiful horse. You won the QPC as a 22-year-old, and I think that makes you the youngest trainer of a Grand Circuit winner. You've won a lot of great races, but to get that success early on, how important do you think that was in your career?
Well, it certainly helps. I think if you can win a lot of races, but to be winning the Group 1 races really sort of puts you up there. And if you can sort of compete at that highest level, you see like Dexter Dunn and Zach Butcher now, young guys in New Zealand are doing it, and it just kicks you right along if you can get up there early enough, and then it sort of just snowballs on from there.
First 7 years as a trainer, you had only 8 horses. Washaki, For a Reason, Slip and Slide, Fleur de Lille, they all won Group 1s. The 9th horse you had was Mr. Feelgood, another Group 1 winner. So you just seem to be around success.
Just got lucky, Hazy.
But seriously, there's obviously, that's not just luck. Do you know what I'm saying? There's obviously a skill. There's a skill there.
Oh, for sure. We're just lucky enough that I sort of think I've had the right opportunities to learn. I think growing up working with Dad, I still think he's probably the best conditioner of a horse I've ever seen. He could teach you if they needed more or less. I think that's a big key. A lot of people sort of can tip them over the edge. And growing up at Turnbulls, and from the time I was 13, I used to spend a lot of time at Brian Hancock's, and I'd go there for Christmas holidays for a few years, and you learn how the professionalism of Brian. Like he was at his top then. Savant Salot and Quantum Labelle and Elite Rena and Sableyes were all in the barn, and that was a great experience. And then also going and working in America, I think what I learned over there, just different things with horses, and that was a really good experience as well.
Yeah, before we talk about the decision to come to Sydney, tell us about that American experience, because that was a pretty special time for you.
It was, Hazy. I'd been over a few times prior, but the year that we decided to go and live there, we took Fleur de Lille over and raced her, and she done a super job. She made $250,000 racing in a year and a half, and and I sort of didn't really have any plans as much as just to go there and learn. Wasn't too worried about driving and all the rest of it, but just wanted to go and learn. And we were based with Noel Daly, and Noel had a great team and learned a lot off Noel, and he's one of our great friends of the family, and it was just a wonderful experience. And just to actually go there and meet the different people, and I think the driving for me, and I did pick up a lot of drives there. I ended up having 100 drives at the Meadowlands, and drove a lot in Kentucky when I went out and drove a lot of Noel's baby horses. The driving on the bigger tracks, for when I moved home to Menangle, it felt easy to adapt to the speed, just because I had that experience of driving at the Meadowlands and the Red Mile.
You got to win the World Trotters Derby. That had to be the highlight.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I could even almost say it's probably the highlight of my career as far as a race driver. You know, it was 850,000 in the World Trotting Derby, and Muscle Hills probably goes down as one of the best trotters in history, and you know, and he's gone on to be a super stallion. So, you know, it was just an absolute privilege to get to drive him.
How did you get the drive?
It was a fluke. Brian Sears, his regular driver, the World Trotting Derby was in the afternoon in DuQuoin, which is, for anyone that doesn't know, is 4 hours west of Kentucky. Anyway, the boys, that night the $1 Million Metro Pace was on in Canada, so Brian and T-Trick and Gingras and Campbell all had a private jet waiting there to fly him to Canada. Anyway, they had a lot of rain in DuQuoin, and the track got boggy and they couldn't race. So they postponed the meeting to the night time. Well, all of a sudden these drivers said, we can't wait around, we've got to get to Canada, you know, because there's a bunch of Group 1 races on in Canada. So Muscle Hill was left without a driver. Well, Andrew was the first choice. He'd driven him as a 2-year-old. He won a big race on him in Kentucky as a 2-year-old, but Andrew was already at Poconos driving, so he couldn't get there. And I was sitting in Kentucky. I'd literally finished the horses and went down and had a shower. I was just about to go down to the pub and watch Muscle Hill, you know, because we figured he was on at 2:30. Anyway, I get a phone call from a friend of mine, Irish Joe, and he says, Luke, he rings up and he goes, don't hang up. Don't hang up. Anyway, and I thought, what's going on? He goes, there's been a heap of rain in DuQuoin. He said, there's no driver for Muscle Hill. Sears has gone to Canada. You got to come and drive him. And I said, I won't say what I said on television, but I said, yeah, righto. And he goes, Greg Peck's going to call you. He said, answer your phone. And I went, this is funny. Anyway, so 30 seconds later, Greg Peck calls me and says, Luke, did the Irishman get hold of you? And I went, yeah. And he goes, can you come out and drive Muscle Hill? Can you get here in time? And I said, this is a G-up, eh? And he goes, what's a G-up? Anyway, and he goes, no, this is real. And I went, okay. So I got in the car and just drove out there. Literally got there, got changed. You know, the horse had already warmed up. Walked out, they passed me the lines and went straight on the track and went out and won the World Trotting Derby.
No instructions?
No, I rang Brian Sears that afternoon on the way when I was driving out there and said, what do you think? And he said, just get away fifth, you know, just let him settle and then, you know, move him whenever you want. Anyway, and I went, okay. So Peck says, what did Sears say? And I said, exactly what he said. And he goes, what do you think? And I said, nah, stuff that, I'm going straight to the front. I'm not getting away fifth in case something gallops in front of me. And he goes, yeah, you do what you want.
Yes. So and that'll be a race that you'll never forget?
No, I never forget that one.
Hill has shifted gears. Southern Rocky Top, the pumps in the pocket. Muscle Hill, Southern Rocky Top trying hard, but not hard enough. It's Muscle Hill winning the World Trotting Derby at 152.3.
After that victory, was there a pull to keep you in America?
It's not so much a pull, but I think, you know, I was just prior to that, I'd been getting a pretty good go in Kentucky, and because what happens is it's seasonal. You know, a lot of them, the top guys aren't there for a part of that Red Mile, so I was getting a lot of drives for good stables, and it was a good experience. And then, but once I got the drive on that horse, well, it was sort of nationwide, you know what I mean? Everybody knew you. Andy was already successful, and then, you know, all of a sudden I was getting offered a lot more drives, you know, because you're just a bit more well known.
Did you think about staying there and not coming home? What made you come home?
It was starting to get cold. No, that year, you know, I'd planned to just do the summer and race Fleur de Lille, and then I left Fleur de Lille with Noel, and she went on and done a great job for the next season as well. But for a reason, I'd just turned 3. You know, and I sort of thought, I was hoping he could make a Derby horse, and you know, and he come out and won 4 Derbies, and then in that period of time, Mr. Feelgood come along, so I sort of got them couple of good horses in the barn, which was, you know, really enough to keep you here more so than there.
Make sure you catch up with part 3 of the McCarthy Inside My Stable. In the final instalment, we meet Belinda McCarthy, and she discusses her introduction to the sport while Luke talks about the future plans.